Alright guys, in 2024, I beat 27 games, one more than last year in 2023. I still have a few days left in 2024. Maybe I'll beat one more game. I'm close to the end of Persona 3, but I think it may be just a stretch too far to beat it before the end of the year. I thought I'd record this video now anyway, and kind of go over and rank each and every game I've beaten in 2024. So, it's not like every game that I've beaten 2024 has come out this year. This is just a list of every video game that I've played and beaten in the year. And I'm really excited to kind of go through and talk about this. Now, I'll mainly be talking about story games in this. Obviously, I've played loads of sports games that I've kind of beat as well for the Apex Sound channel and stuff like that. But I'm talking about like story games and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into this list. There's 8 games I abandoned. There's 6 games I'm currently playing that I'm planning on beating. And then I have 9 more in my backlog. So I have a full list of the games here, and I'm going to be doing something a little bit different today in the way that I rank these games. So I'm a big fan of F1, right? So as you can see here, look, let me just have a quick little gander. I'm a big fan of F1 and Max Verstappen. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of ranking these games based off like an F1 grid. P1 being the best, P20 being like the worst. So like P1 would be like the ultimate game, like as good as it gets, GOAT tier game. 2 and 3 would be like podium, so they'd be like really great games, like amazing games. And then 4, 5, 6, P4, 5, 6 would be like great games, still really great games. And then 7, 8, 9, 10 would be good games, and anything kind of 11 to 15 would be okay, mediocre, decent games. Because in F1, the top 10 get points, so I'm thinking like points and above is still like a really a solid game, a good game. And then anything like under P15, like P16, P17, P18 down to P20 is kind of like not very good. Okay, so that's the way that we're gonna rank this. And yeah, I have quite a lot of games to rank, so we better get into it now. Let's get into the list and talk about this. So I'm doing it in order of when I beat the game. So like the first game that I talk about is gonna be the first game that I beat in 2024. I'm not doing it in like order of best to worst or worst to best or anything like that. We're gonna like put each game, after I talk about each game, you're gonna see it go up on the grid in its spot or whatever, whether it be P20, P9, P7, and then it's going to go beside, like each time I add a game, it's going to go beside that other game that's on the same spot on the grid or something like that. So hopefully that makes enough sense for you guys. But anyway, let's jump in. We're going to start with Like a Dragon Gaiden. That was the first game that I beat back in January. I think I started it in December. I think it came out in December and I finished it at the start of January. But Like a Dragon Gaiden, that was kind of like a little spin-off in between Like a Dragon and Infinite Wealth. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a fun game. All of the Yakuza games are fun on some level. Like all of them I've really enjoyed. Judgment, Lost Judgment, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Like a Dragon, Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 0. I love them all. Like, I've loved all the games I played. Now, this isn't as strong as like a mainline Yakuza game, because this is kind of like a spin-off. So, yeah, it wouldn't be as high as them for me. It's going to go in, it's going to slot in at P9 for me. Very enjoyable game. It was a lot shorter than the other Yakuza games. It was a lot more manageable, which I actually did appreciate, because I find that a lot of the Yakuza games just do go on a little bit too long. Same with Judgment. I feel like they end up repeating themselves in the story, and they just go on a little bit too long. This game still did that, but it was shorter, which made it a little bit more manageable. And it was really cool to play as Kiryu in the Like a Dragon kind of universe and stuff like that, which is cool. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. There was a lot of emotional moments in that game, especially towards the end with Kiryu and his story. So I did appreciate those. But overall, the game like wasn't as strong as like a mainline Yakuza game. So yeah, I put Like a Dragon Gaiden in at P9 on the grid to start. So a solid start. I think that might be a little bit harsh, but you know, I want to be a little bit kind of harsh with my rankings as well. I want to save the top of the grid for the very best games. And when I review games going forward, you'll be able to see where it slots in compared to the other games on the grid and stuff like that. So I think that'll be a cool way to do it going forward. So second game I beat was like a short indie style game. It was called The Cub. And this one was quite cool, actually. It was an interesting little indie game where you're playing as like this kind of alien little human boy, and you end up like just being an absolute psychopath. And the game, the theme of the game overall is really interesting and cool. And I did end up enjoying it. Like, the humans were hunting you down basically on this, and they were the same guys that made this this golf game that I played in the past as well. Golf Golf Club Wasteland, I think it was called, which I really liked, but this game just didn't have the golf theme, so it was kind of like a sequel to that. It was in the same universe as that game, but yeah, it was really enjoyable. It wasn't like the best game ever or anything like that. I did have a few issues with it, and I'll probably put that in like a P14. I think it only took me like 4 or 5 hours to beat as well, maybe even less. I'll put it in a P14 on the grid there. A nice solid entry. Now, I don't have any notes for these games. I'm just going right off my memory bank, so apologies if I'm a little bit rambly with some of these, but I think it's better for me that way to kind of just talk about the games that I beat in some capacity without having like notes down for it. I have like small little notes down, but yeah, just rather than having like a script. I feel like the videos don't turn out as well when I read directly off a script, unless it's like necessary. But anyway, next game up is Banishers Ghost of New Eden. I think this came out in February. I ended up beating it for a review, and I have a full review of this game up on the channel. You'll see in my review that I have mixed feelings about this game. Like, there is really good elements to Banishers Ghost of New Eden, and I really enjoyed some of the gameplay aspects of this game. Like being a ghost hunter was such a cool idea, was such a cool theme in this kind of universe, that in this time period that they had, the big Scottish accents on him. I thought it was really enjoyable, but one of the main characters I really didn't enjoy. I can't remember her name now, even at this point, but I really liked the main character, the Scottish guy, but I can't remember the name of the other one. But she wasn't. She just kind of, I don't know. I just didn't enjoy her character as much, and it ended up really weighing the story down for me and weighing the game down for me. The way she was talking and the way she acted in the story and stuff. So that was a problem for me. But overall, the game was good. I think I would slot it in maybe somewhere around P13. It's better than a Cub, but it wouldn't be as good as like a Dragon Gaiden for me or something like that. So I'll put it in a P13 on the grid there. Now we go on to Dishonored. So this is a game that I had previous history with before this year. I didn't really get into it. I played a couple hours of Dishonored and I was like, I'm really not feeling this. I don't like it. That was way back when, a few years ago, and I just never vibed with the game fully for some reason, whatever it may be. But this year I actually got it on Steam Deck. I think I had it in my Steam library, and I have a Steam Deck now, and I ended up playing through the entire thing on my Steam Deck, and it really kind of changed my opinion on the game a lot. Like, I got into it. I really kind of felt the stealth of the gameplay and got more into the way that it plays, and the storyline as well. The storyline isn't anything special or anything, but I did enjoy just the kind of simple concept of Corvo and the girl and the big bad guys and stuff like that, and you have to go in and be really stealthy and kill everyone. And I ended up kind of like getting into that gameplay loop a lot more than I did the first time I played it, and really kind of trying to map out my movements and go through these levels with the least amount of kind of carnage possible, being as stealthy as I possibly could. Didn't always work out because I'm not the best stealth player in the world, but I tried my best, and I think I really just clicked with the game a lot more second time around. And I have to go and play Dishonored 2, because I tried Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2 and didn't click with either of them, and then I came back and played Dishonored on the Steam Deck and ended up really enjoying it. So I think now I might try Dishonored 2 on the Steam Deck as well. Just the perfect machine to play it. I played it in bed, I played it when I was traveling. Well, I played a lot of it when I was on my flight like to Sweden, and then I think I ended up beating it when I was at home or something like that. But overall, I'm going to put this in the same as Like a Dragon Gaiden. I'm going to put that in a P9. We don't have too many games going up near the top of the grid yet, but they will come. Don't you worry, sunshine. And I'll keep adding to these as we play more games going forward. Like, each time I beat a game, I'll do a video, like, maybe I won't do a review for every game, but I'll do a video kind of updating this list every now and then, maybe like every 6 months or something like that. Every game that I've beaten, we'll add it into the list and stuff like that, because I think that'll be kind of a cool way to keep track of all the games I've beaten and kind of my thoughts on them, see if they evolve over time. Because sometimes I'll play a game when it comes out, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's like a P, that's a best game ever kind of thing. And then it'll kind of some time will pass, and I'll be like, yeah, it wasn't as good as I thought, you know. Like, sometimes you do kind of have like, you kind of living in the moment a little bit too much. But yeah, I'm gonna put Dishonored P9 alongside Like a Dragon Gaiden, and we're gonna move on now to Tomb Raider Remastered 1 to 3. I'm gonna put this in as a trilogy. I did beat all 3 games separately, and I did this on the channel. I really enjoyed it. I never played the Tomb Raider original games before, so this was a new experience for me. There was a lot of rage, there was a lot of fun, but I do think that these games are quite special, and I can see why people really love these original Tomb Raider games, and I think that they did a really great job with remastering them. You can kind of switch between the new and old graphics and stuff like that. I do think overall this was a really enjoyable package, and the reason I'm doing these all as a trilogy here is because I have similar feelings about 1 to 3. Like, I do think they're all very good games, and I rate them quite highly. There is a lot of moments in these games where you will be frustrated and you will be angry, but that's just the way that games were back then, you know? They were frustrating, but the sense of satisfaction when you finally beat these levels that you're stuck on, and the sense of glory when you finally beat the game overall is like, it's something else. It really does make you feel kind of makes you feel on top of the world when you beat these games. And yeah, I think Tomb Raider Remastered 1 to 3, I'm gonna have to put them in at P5. That is the highest on the list so far, but I just really enjoyed them. I fell in love with these games, and I ended up beating all 3 of them in a shortish period of time for YouTube. I may have said some choice words while I was playing the games, but looking back on them, I love them. I may have said, I hate these stupid ass games or whatever, but no, I really did love Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered, and yeah, that they're worthy of a P5, and some good points on the grid. So yeah, we're gonna move on and talk now about Brother, A Tale of Two Sons Remake. And this is like an interesting year as well overall, 2024, because I think there was a lot of like really solid, great games. Like, there was different types of games for everyone, but I also don't think there was like many standout, holy crap, this game was the best game. Like, you know, certain years you'd have like a God of War Ragnarok or a Death Stranding where people are like, this is one of my favorite games, or like a Horizon or something like that, you know? So, or Elden Ring or Zelda or whatever it may be, like these standout games that people really say are amazing. I don't think there was many games like that this year, for me at least personally. Now, but there was like a wide variety of games for everyone. But yeah, that aside, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons Remake. Now, I never played the original for this one, so this was a first-time experience for me. I thought this was a co-op game all along, but it's not. You play it single player, you just control 2 of the characters, and I think you can definitely see it's a Joseph Fares game right off the rip with all these little mini games and stuff like that they have. I think the mini games were really enjoyable. They always, like, Joseph Fares is just such a creative guy. He finds a way to really just make these games so much more fun than they have any right to be. And yeah, there was some really cool set piece moments like Joseph Fares always has in his games. A Way Out, It Takes Two, some of my favorite co-op games ever, along with Army of Two. Shout out Army of Two. But yeah, I just adore this man, and he's such a genuine human being. Like, seeing him up at the stage on the Game Awards and stuff like that, and seeing his passion and his love for video games is something that always manages to touch me. But yeah, I love this dude, and playing one of his early games like this was really, really cool. I don't think it's as good as A Way Out or It Takes Two personally, but I still see the vision for how those games came to be from his creative vision from this game. Like, there was a lot of those mini games where you're just kind of playing basketball and you're having fun, but obviously a lot of kind of the fun of It Takes Two and A Way Out is playing it with someone else. So Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons was more of a solo experience, but still an emotional experience, a great experience, and I'm gonna slot it in actually as well as Dishonored and Like a Dragon Gaiden. I'm gonna put it in there at P9, so third game to go in at P9. I didn't even realize that when I was writing these out. I'm not doing it any kind of way to have certain games in slots. It's just kind of my honest thoughts here, and obviously there's 20 slots, so it's kind of hard to like pick a perfect slot for a game. When I watch this video back, I'll probably be like, oh, I should have had one game higher. And that is kind of why I wanted to do like my unique scoring style, because I do find like pitting my scores against other people's scores, like, you have a different idea of how scoring is done. Like, say if I just did the 1 to 10 scale and I put like a certain game at an 8, and I think an 8 is really, really great, other people will be like, an 8 isn't that good, you know? Like, I don't know, it just kind of, I feel like it makes more sense for me to have my own kind of ranking of games, and that's why I wanted to do something unique, so people aren't comparing me to like fucking IGN or GameSpot or whatever it may be. So yeah, apologies if it's a little convoluted, but I just thought it would kind of be cool to have my own thing. But anyway, let's move on. We move on to GTA 4. So this is a game that I had never played before either. GTA 4, first time player. For some reason, never got as into GTA as a lot of other kids my age, and kind of just other people that I know got into GTA way more than me. I never loved it. I loved GTA San Andreas when I was younger. That was the game that stuck with me, but I never played GTA 3, 4. I might have played like little bits and bobs of 3, and Vice City I played, but I didn't like love them as much as other people. Even GTA 5, I liked it, but I didn't like fall in love with GTA 5. Like a lot of people think it's like the best game ever and stuff like that. I didn't really think that. But GTA 4, the tone of this game is phenomenal. Like, I absolutely love it. Niko Bellic, Roman Bellic, like the characters in this game are absolutely awesome. I loved it. I fell in love with the world and the characters immediately. Nico's just such a lovable character. It's such a likable story as well. Like, there's so much crazy shit going on, obviously. But, like, you have Roman, who's just a complete dipshit dumbass. Like, you're like, if it wasn't Roman, you'd be like, this guy fucking sucks. But Roman finds a way to just be the most likable dude ever while just doing the most dumb-ass things as well. Like, I don't know. I love the characters in this game. They're so great. And each and every kind of character, you go through a different little storyline with them, which I really appreciate. You can kind of bounce from one to one, but you always actually have to end up doing their entire storyline, and they're all great. Like, all of the characters have their own unique kind of storylines that are really, really fun. And GTA 4, like the tone of the world, like just the humor of it is really right up my street. It's kind of got like that dark humor down perfectly. And yeah, I love this game a lot. Now, there was a few issues I had with it, especially on one mission. I had like a glitch that I actually couldn't overcome. I had to look online to figure out how to beat this mission. It was like jumping onto a helicopter. And for some reason, if you put the controller down on the desk, the only way you could beat this mission was putting the controller down on the desk and like rubbing your fingers like you're rubbing a clit, like that. Like, maybe not that fast, but you had to do it just super fast, like, and that was the only way. Like, you couldn't actually, the game was designed to like tap, 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 tap. But yeah, that was the only way you could actually do that, which was so stupid. And I spent like hours trying to beat this mission, and I nearly rage quit and never beat the game because of it. I nearly did, but somehow I managed to overcome that glitch and beat it. And yeah, GTA 4 ended up probably becoming my favorite GTA game, to be honest. GTA San Andreas holds a special place in my heart, but I do think like I just remember the story and the characters of this game a little more, so it ended up becoming my favorite GTA 4 game. I did have quite a few technical issues, and some of the mission structure, the way it was laid out, like if you died in a mission, you'd have to go back and restart the entire journey and stuff like that. That bothered me a little bit. That would kind of just keep this game off the podium, but I'm gonna slot it in at P4, the highest on the list so far. And yeah, GTA 4 is a masterclass for sure. The story and everything like that. I feel like it's so close to a podium, but there's just some glitches and bugs and stuff with the mission structure that just keeps it outside of there. So next up, I played the Tomb Raider trilogy, the modern trilogy. I'm going to rank them all together as well, because I played them all before and I have similar opinions on all of them. Like, I do think they're just really great games. Now, I am a big fan of action adventure games. Like, Uncharted is my favorite franchise of all time, to be quite perfectly honest with you. I absolutely love Uncharted, and that was kind of what really got me back into gaming. I was a gamer when I was younger. I played but really kind of ignited my passion for gaming again was playing Uncharted on the PS3. And yeah, I mean, I love those type of games. Like, Tomb Raider doesn't have the same complex story and characters that Uncharted has in the same way, but I still really enjoyed the structure of the Tomb Raider games 1 to 3. They all kind of had their unique little hooks, and I did enjoy the story. It wasn't bad or anything. Like, I love Jonah. I love Lara. Like, a lot of people don't like Lara because she's whiny in those games compared to like Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered, where she's just this badass cold ass killer. But I do like that human element to Lara as well in those games. So I'm gonna slot the trilogy, the entire trilogy. I played through Rise, I played through Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and sorry, the first one as well, the Tomb Raider reboot or whatever. Played through all three of them, and I'm gonna put them in as a package at P7. I think objectively, like, without like putting them as a package, I think I'd have all three of them at P7 anyway. Like, I think they're just kind of all like solid, really solid throughout the trilogy. I think maybe Rise is my favorite, but overall I think they're all pretty similar in quality, and I enjoyed them all. So yeah, gonna slot them in there, and then we move on to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Now, this game is absolutely epic. It's huge, it's long, Arguably too long, I think. It is kind of just too long of a game, I think, in terms of story, and that is the issue I have with a lot of the Like a Dragon games. Like, I feel like Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami did it well, but when it gets to, like, Lost Judgment, Like a Dragon, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I feel like for some reason, throughout the story, they find themselves retelling parts of the story that we've already played through. And I'm like, I already know this. Like, they'll replay certain parts of it, and it just, like, it's too much. And the game just ends up being way longer because of it. Like, these games are already long enough. I think I put in nearly 80 to 100 hours of on Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And I love the game, don't get me wrong. The mini games and everything are great. Like, you go out and I can't remember what the one is where you, like, build a hotel or whatever. But that one is awesome. You have the Sujimon, the Pokemon kind of copycat, which I ended up playing until the end and beat the last boss and everything, and that is just so much fun, getting all the characters in the Sujimon. And yeah, the mini games, like the Crazy Taxi mini game, like they just get it with the mini games. They're so much fun, and yeah, I just love it. The side stuff in this game is phenomenal. Now, there might be a little bit too much to do in this game, but yeah, I just think overall it is a great game. I don't think the story is as strong in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth as it was in Like a Dragon, or in any of the kind of mainline Yakuza games like Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami. Those are the only two that I've played out of the Yakuza, like the Yakuza franchise. I played Judgment, I played Lost Judgment. But yeah, I don't think the story is really as strong. I like it, don't get me wrong, but it's just not quite as good as Like a Dragon, I think, personally. But yeah, this one still overall I think is just a phenomenal game as well, because it really is just fun, and it's heartwarming, and Ichiban is just a great character, and Kiryu, like his kind of send-off almost, like I don't want to spoil anything, but like if you played Like a Dragon Gaiden as well, you'd know that like he's coming, like it's coming to the end of Kiryu, but he's just an absolutely world-class character, probably one of the best characters in video games ever, in my opinion, is Kiryu. So Kiryu-chan. But yeah, I'm going to put this game at P3. It's going to be the first game on the podium. A bronze medal for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I do think it was a great game. And yeah, we'll move on now to Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga. A game, of course, that has a lot of controversy surrounding it. Yeah, I mean, the fact that this game took like near on 10 years to make and they only had 5 hours to show for it. I mean, I get it. They're going for like the cinematic kind of game, but it was still shorter than the first game, and it wasn't nearly as creative or as good as the first game, in my opinion. The graphics were incredible, yes, but yeah, I just don't think it really hit like it could have. I was really hyped up for this game. Like, I was thinking, before I played Hellblade 2, like before we kind of got towards like the meat of the marketing of this game, I was thinking this game is going to be absolutely epic, like top tier. Like, I was really excited about it, because I was like, Hellblade was great. If they, like, I really loved Hellblade. I would have Hellblade, the first game, on a podium position for sure. And I just like fell in love with the story and storytelling of that game, and the way that they kind of made you feel in that game with the whispers in your ears and everything was incredible. They still have a lot of that in this game, but I feel like the novelty of it wore off, and you're just left with kind of this walking simulator. The story's great. Like, I did enjoy the story. I did enjoy the characters, but it's just not what I was expecting. I was expecting more. I wanted more from this. I don't mind the game being short. Don't get me wrong. Like, I really don't mind the game being short. Like, the first game was short. It was like 7-8 hours. This one, but like the fact that it took 8 years, 7-8 years to make, they didn't really have like 7 or 8 years to show for this game. I feel like something must have gone wrong along the way, and I do think this is a good game. It's just like, as I said, it's not what I really was expecting or wanting from a Hellblade sequel, and I feel like they could have done so much more with it. But yeah, I did enjoy the journey overall, and the graphics were incredible. The combat was actually really like fun. Like it was real. It felt real, the sword fights and stuff. So I'm gonna slot it in at P10. I do think, like I said, I was expecting like a Hellblade sequel to be up there in P5 and above kind of way, but it is what it is. Hopefully Hopefully they get another chance to do a better game or something like that, a more of a video game, you know. But anyway, let's jump in to Shadow of the no, sorry, we already talked about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're going to jump in to Still Wakes the Deep. So this one was kind of like, I don't know if you've heard of this game, but it's kind of like you're a Scottish guy on a rig. It's basically The Thing. I've never seen The Thing, but this game is based on The Thing. And this is kind of similar to Hellblade. There is a lot of moments in this game where it's like, it feels like a walking simulator, and that's what kind of had this game a little bit lower. I did really enjoy the story and the characters. I thought they were great. The Scottish characters, the big old Scots, like they were really funny, and the humor in the game was great. Overall, it was quite scary in certain parts, definitely. But it just, yeah, the gameplay elements of it weren't like there, same way as Hellblade. Like they just weren't there the way they should have been, I feel like. But yeah, it's still like, it did make you feel helpless in certain parts, the way you couldn't really fight back in this game or anything, but you just needed a little bit more. But I did enjoy the game overall. I'll slot it in at P11. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I think I did do a review for this game as well. But anyway, let's jump on to the next game, which is Fallout New Vegas. So Fallout New Vegas, I played a little bit of this when I was younger and didn't get into it. I've never been much of a Fallout. I can't speak. I can't even say it. I knew you guys were going to attack me. I've never been much of a Fallout guy. Please, don't burn me at the stake. I've never been much of a Fallout guy. Like, I enjoyed Fallout 3. I enjoyed Fallout 4 to a degree. Like, I do think they're good games, but they were never on the level of, like, a Dragon Age for me. Like a Dragon Age Origins or a Dragon Age 2. I guess I kind of prefer fantasy, maybe. But, yeah, the Fallout New Vegas was definitely the favorite one that I've played, like out of the Fallout games. Like, it was definitely my favorite one. I think the historical aspect of it, the storyline, the dialogue in that game, absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, it was just it was a really great, really great game. The characters, it was magic, honestly. Fallout New Vegas, the dialogue specifically though is like as good as it gets in video games. Like, the dialogue in that game, like the choices that you can make, the stuff that people say, like, it's just great. It's just a beautifully written game is what I'll say. But yeah, like the world as well is great. The choices that you have to make are really difficult throughout the game, like whether to side with Mr. House or go against Mr. House, and the consequences of your actions in this game actually do mean something as well. There's a lot of games where they're there just for the sake of it and for the fluff of it. But I do think, yeah, it's just a really well-worked game, and this is kind of peak Bethesda, really. I like Bethesda. I've never been, like, as big a fan of them as other people. Like, some people worship the ground that they walk on. They love all of their games. I've never been, like, that level, but I do really appreciate Bethesda, and I love their games. And Fallout New Vegas was kind of cream of the crop Bethesda game, and I'm going to slot this in the highest ranking so far. I'm going to put it in at P2. I think it just misses out on P1, but yeah, I love Fallout New Vegas, and I don't really have too much bad words to say about it, to be honest. I think it's a really well-worked video game from start to finish. The playable characters that you have with you, the way you get to know them, the way they can help you in the story as well. I just think it's all done perfectly as an RPG. But yeah, Fallout New Vegas goes in a P2. But the next game is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Now, this is actually called Sly Raccoon over here in Europe and Ireland, I think, which is interesting. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I'd never played Sly as a kid, so I thought it was time I got into him. I just started Sly 2 recently as well, because they just put up Sly 2 and 3 on PS5. I did a part 1 for that. Didn't do as well as the first game, so I don't know if I'm going to do a full series. Maybe I'll beat the entire game in one video or something like that and do it that way. But yeah, I mean, it was really enjoyable, honestly. I really had a good time with Sly Cooper. Now, apparently, this is like the worst of the 3. Like, 2 is a significant step up, and so far I have found that from the first hour or so that I played of Sly Band of Thieves. I have found it to be a decent step up, but I still thought that Sly Cooper, the first game, was really enjoyable. It's charming. Sly as a character is really fun. And of course, your two companions, just really, like, fun and wholesome game overall, with Carmelita as well coming into the fray, and the kind of it's cheesy in parts, but it's like it's the good kind of cheesy, you know. It really is, and I think that it works perfectly for a video game like this, and I put it in a P7, and I think maybe Sly 2 and 3 might go even higher on the list than that when I eventually beat them as well. But yeah, Sly Cooper, really good stuff, top tier, and shout out Insomniac. Did I say Insomniac, by the way? I meant Sucker Punch. Shout out Sucker Punch. I was gonna be like, I was thinking in my head, I was like, when I said that, I was like, Insomniac, they didn't make Ghost of Tsushima and Sly Cooper and everything. I was like, that sounded wrong in my head, but yes, I meant, I of course meant Sucker Punch Productions, the goats. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to talk about GTA 4 Ballad of Gay Tony. Now, I'm not going to mention this too much because this is obviously a DLC. It's not a full game, but I would put it in there P5. It's just like a really great DLC. It's top tier DLC, honestly. Hilarious, funny throughout. Gay Tony is just a hilarious character, and the main character you play as well. Like, it's just so extreme. Like, if those games came out now, GTA 4 and Ballad of Gay Tony, if those games came out now, there would be all-out warfare. Like, this fool's just going into the bathroom, banging chicks, and Gay Tony's just the stereotypical game. Like, it's just so funny, honestly. Like, the stereotypes that they have in those games are really hilarious. But anyway, that's it for the DLC. I'll put it in there at P5, just behind GTA 4 as a whole. I think it was a phenomenal DLC. I beat the other DLC as well. I wouldn't say that's as good. The biker DLC, I can't remember what it's called. Lost in the Damned. I'd probably put that a little bit lower. But anyway, let's jump in to Nobody Wants to Die. This was a game that my friend recommended to me. It's kind of like this cyberpunky style game in first person, and you're a detective, and you basically have to figure out crimes. You're kind of dealing with the trauma of your wife's death as well. There's a lot going on in this game story-wise, and I do think it was really, really interesting. Like, I love the detective elements of this game. Overall, just a really, really fun one, to be honest, and I highly recommend it if you haven't played this. It's only 4 or 5 hours long. You can definitely beat it over a weekend or something like that, so it's not going to take up like an abnormal amount of your time like a Persona or a Yakuza or something like that. So if you're looking for a kind of a quick story game that you want to bang out, I think this is perfect. Like, it's similar to Batman in the way that you kind of go through these detective elements. Like, you have these certain tools that you use to kind of recreate scenes, because it's obviously kind of futuristic, so you kind of recreate these crime scenes and see what happened and get into all of this drama that unfolded in certain locations. And I think it's really well written, it's really well done, and yeah, you have to make choices throughout the game as well that can impact the story. And I think I'll put this one up pretty high. I'm gonna put this at P9. Like, I did really enjoy Nobody Wants to Die, and it's just kind of above like Still Wakes the Deep and Hellblade for me in terms of like those type of games. It definitely is better than them in my opinion, but it's not like obviously a 4 to 5 hour kind of walking sim story game is going to be up near P1, P2, P3 kind of way. But I did really, really like it a lot. And speaking of these kind of 4 to 5 hour bite-sized games, we're moving on to the casting of Frank Stone now. So this is obviously Supermassive Games. So yeah, I do like Supermassive Games a lot. I feel like they fell off bad since Until Dawn, to be honest. Like, I loved Until Dawn. I really did when it first came out, but they haven't made a game as good as that since. They've made some good ones. I enjoyed The Quarry, but not even close to the level of Until Dawn. Like, a lot of them are kind of forgettable. They went for quantity over quality, it feels like, to be honest, with these quick horror games. But this one was pretty good. I enjoyed it. The casting of Frank Stone, it wasn't anything special, but it was decent. It was okay. Like, there was elements to it that I really did enjoy, like the kind of early teen 70s horror vibes or whatever. I did enjoy that, and they had like a modern storyline going on as well, and they kind of interlinked, which was cool. And there was a little bit of time travel going on there as well. I don't want to spoil anything for anyone, but yeah, I think overall it is just a classic Supermassive Games horror game, and I think it's better than some of the ones they've done previously. Like, some of the other ones are really, really forgettable. I think this one, like the villain and some of the characters were quite a bit better. So I'll put this one a little bit higher than those. I'll slot this one in at P12. It is in the Dead by Daylight universe, but it didn't really like interlink with that for me too much. I don't know anything about Dead by Daylight. I think there was some elements towards the end of the game that definitely Dead by Daylight fans would recognize. I think it was going to be directly like interlink, but they kind of made it like a standalone a standalone thing. But The Casting of Frank Stone, we'll put it at P12, like I said. Enjoyable game, but nothing really to write home about. Now, next up is Tomb Raider Legend. So a lot of Tomb Raider games you can see I beat this year. Well, when I started Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered, they kind of took off on YouTube, so I went on kind of this binge of Tomb Raider games, and I played Legend for the first time here, and I'd never played this game before, so it was really cool to play so many of these Tomb Raider games for the first time. Obviously, I had played the modern trilogy, but that was pretty much it. So going back and playing the old games this year has been really, really fun. And Tomb Raider Legend was kind of a short, bite-sized one, but I really enjoyed Lara in this game. I think this game only took me like 5 hours to beat, 5-6 hours to beat, something like that. But I really enjoyed Lara. She was great. The voice actor for Lara was phenomenal in this, and the story was pretty fun as well. Like the game was a lot simpler, I will say, than like Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered. It was a lot more kind of streamlined and easier in terms of its platforming and stuff like that. It was a lot more fluid, I'll say. It was a lot more fluid, because the other games, like some of the controls, like it's designed to make you fucking rage, and obviously there's tank controls and modern controls, and this game was all designed for the same, so it kind of it made it a lot easier. And yeah, I did enjoy this one a lot. I'll put this game at P7, I think, because same as kind of the trilogy, I would have it on that same level. I think Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered is just a little bit above, just because I feel like as a package they were all really good games, and kind of made me have them a little bit higher. But I really enjoy all of the Tomb Raider games that I've played so far. I'll go through some of my abandoned ones later, my abandoned games, where we'll talk about maybe the Tomb Raider game that I didn't enjoy as much. But anyway, next up is Astrobot. This is just an absolutely dopamine hit game. Like, it's so much fun. I really enjoyed it, going through PlayStation's history and with a little bit of platforming, and it kind of made me reminisce about the Little Big Planet days, to be honest. Like, I used to love Little Big Planet when I was younger. I played it through with my dad and my brother when he was much younger. My brother's like 10 years younger than me, so he was really young at this point. But yeah, we really enjoyed playing through those games together, and I really enjoyed Sackboy when it came out on PS5 as well. Like, I just think they did such a great job with Little Big Planet, and this is kind of like bearing the torch. This is kind of like carrying that on, in my opinion. Obviously, we don't have the Little Big Planet games anymore. That studio is shut down now. So to see this game kind of revitalize that is really, really cool, and includes so many epic PlayStation characters along the way. Like, there was loads of them I didn't even recognize at all. I'm a big PlayStation guy, but there was loads of characters I didn't recognize. But of course, there was ones that you're going through the game where you're really excited. You want to find all of the bots or whatever. And yeah, really enjoyable game. I must go back and try and platinum this game, because I played through the entire game and loved it. I didn't find all of the secret levels or anything like that, but I wouldn't mind going back to this game at all at some point, because it is phenomenal. I'm gonna put this on the podium position. I'm gonna put it P3, and hopefully we see more games like this, because obviously this evolved from Astro's Playroom, which was kind of more like a tech demo for the PS5, but to see it now into a fully fledged game where it's getting 9s and 10s in reviews and selling pretty decently for a platformer as well is really cool to see. And hopefully that means we get more games like this, because I do think gaming in general is missing this, especially Sony. Like, Sony kind of have like the brooding third person emotional storytelling stuff, which I love, don't get me wrong. Like, some of my favorite games of all time are those kind of games, like The Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, Horizon. I love those games, but I do think that you need a little bit of variety in your game catalog as well. To be making the same thing over and over again, it gets a little bit weary, it gets a little bit boring. So to see something kind of new and unique like this from Sony was really, really cool. And yeah, I'm going to put it at P3, like I said. It's going on the podium positions alongside the likes of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. So yeah, let's move on. The next one is Until Dawn Remake. I'm not going to talk about this too much, because obviously it's a remake for a game that came out in 2015. I just don't think the remake was as good as the original. Like, I really don't. Like, there's elements to it where it's like, I don't know, I feel like the game doesn't actually even look that much better than the 2015 one. So I feel like it's kind of a wasted remake. They have a couple of little bits of extra content, but it's nothing significant. And yeah, I did enjoy my playthrough, but I didn't really enjoy it as much as when I played back in 2015. It is Prime Supermassive still, so I'm gonna put it like P8, I think, because Until Dawn is a class game, but maybe not as like top tier as I remember it personally back in 2015. But yeah, really great game still. and I guess it's kind of like a replay, which is then the next game I'm talking about is a replay as well. It's A Way Out. I played this for the second time, or maybe even the third time, with my friend Mihal, who had never played it. But it just reminded me how absolutely phenomenal this game is. It's so much fun, man. Like, Joseph Fares is a visionary. I was talking about him earlier for the Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons thing, but he is an absolute legend, and he makes phenomenal video games. I can't even begin to explain how excited I am for his next game that they showed at the Game Awards as well. I just think he's one of my guys where I'm going to play whatever he puts out no matter what, because I just can't wait to see what he does with a game, you know? And yeah, it's so cool. But yeah, A Way Out is really, really a phenomenal video game. And I'm going to put it at P2 alongside Fallout New Vegas, because they are both top tier. A Way Out is just one of the best co-op games I've ever played, to be quite perfectly honest with you. Right, next up is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I'm kind of including the campaign and the multiplayer together because I played like a decent amount of the multiplayer. I think I'm like level 30 something. I didn't prestige or anything, but I'm like in the 30s on my level. And I did complete the campaign as well. And I thought the campaign was enjoyable. I think this is probably the best entry into Call of Duty in a while. Black Ops 6 has been really fun on the multiplayer. I got into it more than I have for any previous Call of Duty in recent memory, I'll say. So shout out to Call of Duty for finally releasing a game where I kind of got into the multiplayer for longer than like a week or two, you know? So I do think it's just kind of like the time to kill. Everything about it is really, really good and fun. The campaign, I think the storyline was actually quite decent. The characters were decent. I did enjoy it. Like I was invested in the game. And I always like Call of Duty campaigns. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm saying the previous ones have been trash. Like I really do always enjoy the Call of Duty campaigns, but this is probably the one that I enjoyed the most for quite some time. So I'm going to put Call of Duty Black Ops 6 pretty high up. I'm going to put it at P5, and the fact that it was on Game Pass as well made it that much more accessible and easy to play. So yeah, P5 for Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, let's jump in to the next game, which is Silent Hill 2. I love this game. I love this game, man. It is epic. Now, the game kind of starts off slow with the gameplay, and the gameplay doesn't really pick up like immensely. Like, you do have moments where you're just kind of using your bat and shooting them and using your bat, and that's it really. But I think just the atmosphere of this game, the story of this game is incredible. Like, the way this game made me think after I beat it, like I'm still thinking about this game to this day, like different theories about it, different stuff that's gone on in this game. Like I'm really blown away with the way that they've told this story. I think it was really, really great. And I'd never played the original, so this was my first kind of delve into the Silent Hill world, and I am all the way in on Silent Hill now. I hope they remake the other ones. I hope they make a new one. I don't know. I really did enjoy this immensely. And James as a character, really, really intriguing. All of the characters, honestly, Maria, Mary, Eddie, the fat guy, like they just interlink into the story in ways that you can't even imagine. Like, I'm thinking about this game after, I'm like, holy shit, did that mean that? Did this mean that? Did that? Like, I'm like trying to interlink and add up the story after I've beat it, and looking up theories and looking up videos, and my editor's sending me stuff, and I'm talking about it with everyone, you know. I'm just like, everyone that I know that beat it, they're getting in like a new theory on it, and they have like a different aspect of it. I don't know, it's so interesting the way they've laid out this game, and the kind of new information that you get after beating it. I'm sure a second playthrough, you kind of notice a lot more stuff as well, and maybe I will do a second playthrough at some point. So I'm going to put this game as well at P2. I don't have a game on P1 this year, and which is incredible, but yeah, I don't have a game at P1 this year. I didn't have that game where I was like, this is absolutely top tier GOAT level. I didn't have that game this year, but Silent Hill 2 was as close as it gets right there. It was absolutely awesome. I think just the gameplay overall held it back from being like a top level game. But anyway, that is the penultimate game that we're going to talk about that I beat this year. The next one is Love Too Easily. I don't have much to say about this. It's like an hour and a half story, like what do you call those FMV games, like the movie games or whatever. And it was just really weird. It was weird and different. I enjoyed my time with it, but it wasn't anything special. I'm going to put that at P16. But now I'm going to talk about games that I'm currently playing. I'm just going to kind of quickly go through these because I don't have a lot to say on certain ones. I do have a lot to say on some of them, but Nier Automata I've only played an hour of. of, so I don't have anything to say about that, but the first hour was pretty goddamn awesome, I'm not gonna lie to you. Persona 3 Reload, this one I have a lot to say about because I am very near the end of this game, so I think I can still put this on the list. I think I can still rank this game because I'm so close to the end of this one. So yeah, I have put about 62, 64 hours into this game, something like that. I think I'm at that level. I'm in the last month of the game now, so yeah, I like this game a lot. It's great. Persona, the games do tend to drag on just a little bit too much. Like, they are so goddamn long, and a lot of it you're doing like mundane tasks, but it just works in the way that the world works. Like the day-night cycle, it does just work. Like, sometimes I do just kind of find myself going through the motions where I'm just like skipping through working and skipping through that and then going to Tartarus and just kind of just trying to get up as many floors as possible and kind of just going through the motions but I've been playing mostly on Steam Deck, and I haven't been like playing loads, you know. I've been playing like an hour here, an hour there when I'm in bed on the Steam Deck and stuff like that, so it hasn't like I haven't really got too burnt out on the game, but I still do think like the story and the characters and the way that you interact with all of the characters and the way that you like get your social links up, it works really, really well. And this is going to be the first Persona game that I beat, actually. I played Persona 5 pretty much all the way till the end, got stuck at a boss fight and just dropped it. Persona 4, I have played maybe 12 to 13 hours, so I like that game. I like Persona 4 a lot, but I was playing on Xbox and I kind of wanted to play on Steam Deck, so I might like restart that on Steam Deck at some point. Metaphor Refantasia is another one I want to get into. It's just you never have the time to keep up with all of these, you know, so it is what it is. But Persona 3, I would put it P3. I definitely have it on the podium positions. I'll put it alongside some of the other P3s there, like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I did really, really enjoy this one, so yeah. American Arcadia, I'm about halfway through. I played that on Steam Deck too. It's kind of like the Truman Show, basically. Really enjoyable, but it's a short game and I haven't played enough to really rank it or anything like that. Space Marine 2, epic game. Played a decent amount of the multiplayer around launch. Played, I think, more than half of the story as well. Just haven't got back to this game. Had so many other games I was playing, haven't got back to this game, but this game is awesome. The people, the characters are great in it. So yeah, really enjoyable game overall. And I think I would probably have it around P5 or something like that, I think, because I just love how like badass and cool this game is. It feels like kind of Gears of War in that way. Dragon Age the Veilguard, I've played 8-9 hours of. Don't really have enough info to kind of give an opinion on that. I am enjoying it, but it's not like on the level of another Dragon Age game, of the other Dragon Age games in terms of its story, its writing, and its characters, unfortunately. But Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is the last game right now that I'm playing currently that I want to talk about. This game is great. It's not like blow your socks off special or anything, but I do think this is just a great rendition of Indiana Jones. And I watched the movies kind of earlier this year, last year kind of way, and really, really liked the movies for the first time. Yeah, I know, right? I'm a loser. But yeah, the game kind of lives up to the billing in that way as well. It plays perfectly alongside the movies, and I'd probably have this in alongside Space Marine at around that P5, P4 range. Once I beat it, I'll see. I'm over halfway through the game now, I would say. I have maybe 4 or 5 hours left. Depending on how I play it, but yeah, I'm getting close to the end of Indiana Jones, so I'll put it at P5 for now. Maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, I don't know, but that would probably be what I have. Backlog, I have Stalker, Ghostwire Tokyo, Valiant Hearts, Eco, Dave the Diver, Resistance Retribution, Black Myth Wukong, Metaphor Refantasio, Abandoned. These are the games that I abandoned that I didn't really enjoy as much. Lake, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, for obvious reasons. Rise of the Ronin, I didn't really hate this game or dislike this game or anything. It just really wasn't for me. It didn't click with me. I played an hour of it. Dragon's Dogma 2, I actually really loved this game at the start, and I was kind of addicted to it, and then it just kind of, it got too crazy and stupid where I'm getting into a fight every 2 seconds that I walk. I can't actually do anything in this game, so it was like I just fell off that game eventually. Doom, I abandoned. I only put a couple hours into it, but I don't know, I tried before to play this game as well and never clicked with me. Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, I ended up abandoning. It was a fun game, but just didn't really want to commit to that game over other games when there's a decent amount. The Plucky Squire, just couldn't get into it. It was like a little too kiddie for me. Tomb Raider The Anniversary is the other one I wanted to talk about. Tomb Raider The Anniversary. I think I might have just been burnt out on Tomb Raider games, to be honest. Yeah, I got so goddamn mad every time I was playing this game, where it was like unhealthy how angry I was getting. So I just ended up abandoning it. But there is my video game journey through 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll put up like a full list of the games that I ranked on the screen right now, so you can see and we'll keep adding to this, hopefully. Yeah, shout out Josh for editing this video. I really do appreciate all the support, guys, and we'll be back in the new year with more content like this. If you want to see more reviews, game playthroughs, whatever it is, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching this year, though. Really excited about the year to come here on the Hound channel, and this is kind of like my passion project, as you know. And yeah, I want to do more videos like this where I'm kind of talking to the camera and doing review style stuff like this. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace out, friends.